Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this month's IAB MENA Masterclass, where this month we'll be talking about the impact of AI on advertising going into 2026, courtesy of Smartly, who'll be sharing with us the recent Digital Advertising Trends Report, which talks a lot about how we need to adjust the way we think for a new world of advertising through AI. So without further ado, I'll hand over directly to the Smartly team, who will talk to us for probably the next 20-25 minutes or so. Feel free to ask any questions through the chat, ideally, but also if you do need to just raise your hand, please do so, and we'll take questions throughout and at the end of the session. And with that, I hand over to the team from Smartly. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time, donating basically your time and this report for our industry's benefit.
Thanks, Ian, and thanks everyone for joining this session today. And the core of our discussion today is about the changing reality of the marketeer. It's fast, and 2026 is definitely shaping up to be a significant turning point. We are now fully in the AI era, whether you agree with it or you don't. It's not going back in the box. And the smartest marketeers are no longer just reacting to change. They're going to be the ones actively driving it. So consumers are demanding brands that are relevant, creative, and capable of making a personal connection. So to meet this demand, leading marketers are building smarter systems that blend AI, data, and creativity to deliver personalized content at scale. So we recently surveyed 450 marketers across multiple regions, advertising all over the world, including this region. And their insight from the foundation from this report really forms some of the ideas that you're going to hear. So before we dive into the insights, I want to quickly introduce myself. I'm Natia Burke, and I'm a global partner development lead here at Smartly, where we turn AI into marketing engine that powers creative, targeting, and performance at scale. I've also come from the world of insights, having previously been a client director at Kantar and Dynata. And I love advertising and all things to do with brand. And I think we are really at a pivotal moment in our industry where maybe everything changes. But still, some of the challenges for marketers is definitely going to stay the same. And this challenge is a direct result of operating in the intention economy. So to underscore this challenge, just consider this actual data point. We are exposed to about 4 terabytes of new information every single day. And this immense data volume is the environment in which marketeers must find relevance and connect with consumers at a personal level. And the only way that you're maybe going to be able to do this is through smarter AI-driven systems. So let's dig into some of the insights from the report and what you need to know. So we're seeing overall a major shift in how marketeers approach the customer journey, and AI is at the center of it. So traditionally, marketing follows a linear funnel: awareness, consideration, and conversion. We're very familiar with it. But now with AI's ability to personalize experiences from the very first interaction, that funnel is being redefined. And in some cases, people say the funnel's collapsing. In fact, 92% of marketeers agree that AI is changing how they think about the customer journey entirely. I can count many situations where I bought a product just from one interaction with an ad from a brand I've never heard of. What this means in practice is real-time optimization, being able to adapt creative, messaging, and spend instantly as performance data comes in. The second biggest trend is cross-channel expansion. Marketeers aren't satisfied staying on 1 or 2 platforms anymore. The most advanced or precision-first marketeer are operating across 6 or more platforms, and that's twice as many as the average marketeer. And what's really interesting is that these same marketeers are 22% more likely to use AI in their campaign planning and creative process. So AI isn't just improving execution, it's transforming how marketeers think strategically about reach, learning, and efficiency. Now, the next evolution of AI in marketing is all about prediction. Advanced teams, or the leading teams, are no longer just reacting to performance data, they're actually anticipating it. So with predictive AI, marketers can now model outcomes before a campaign even goes live. So this intelligence powers creative scoring, budget allocation, and even campaign validation, allowing teams to kind of forecast and have a crystal ball as to what will perform best. In other words, AI is kind of shifting us from efficiency to foresight. And right now, 1 in 3 marketeers already uses AI for predictive modeling, creative validation, or creative AI. But the ambition is much bigger. So 86% of marketers said that they want to expand these capabilities this year. And that tells us predictive advertising isn't just a future far-fetched concept, it's happening right now, and it's rapidly becoming the standard for how these high-performing marketing teams operate. Now, for the 2026 marketer, efficiency is no longer the goal. It's the starting line, it's the baseline. And the next generation of marketeers are video first because that's where audience engagement lives. We're spending more time on short form content in various channels, and it's vertical content that we're consuming. And they're cross-channel fluent, so they move seamlessly between different formats and different channels. And most importantly, they're orchestrating with AI. They're not just using AI as a tool, but integrating it into every part of their creative targeting and measurement process. So the marketeers who are really thriving in this year, they'll be the ones who combine creativity and automation and who let AI handle the complexity so they can focus on the strategy, the storytelling and impact, really the fun parts. So the biggest shift happening in marketing today, as I've kind of highlighted already, is that the funnel is dissolving. And what this means is that consumers aren't moving step by step from awareness to conversion anymore. They're flowing in and out of those stages, in and out of those funnel stages, and moving quickly, unpredictably, and often skipping stages entirely. So AI is what's making sense of this new motion. It's giving marketers the personalization and prediction needed to meet consumers wherever they jump and guide them forward. So marketers that win won't be the ones that are forcing them down this rigid funnel, but just adapting to the flow and finding them exactly where they are. And as the journey becomes more dynamic, three shifts are defining this modern strategy. First, personalization starts much sooner. So with AI, marketers are moving from this broad one-to-many messaging to micro-tailored storytelling at the outset of a campaign. So 46% of them are scaling creative production with AI to reach different audience segments. And secondly, consistency is the new currency. With audiences bouncing across channels, marketeers need coherent, always on creative that strengthens brand continuity. And 42% of them are using AI to navigate personalization across these channels. And third, prediction replaces reaction. So instead of retrofitting data after the fact, AI helps teams forecast outcomes and shape campaigns before they even launch. And this is where efficiency stops being a KPI and becomes the baseline, as I've highlighted. But efficiency lost isn't just wasted budget, it's lost momentum. So leading teams are no longer guessing their way to optimization. They're using AI foresight to anticipate performance, adjust budgets in real time, and eliminate waste before it happens. So imagine saving X amount of your budget because you could see how that campaign would perform before it even goes live. This is what's separating the top performers. It's not about luck, it's about foresight. They're using the AI-powered prediction and pre-launch intelligence to make smarter decisions before spend is even committed. So it's turning what used to be reactive into proactive strategy. And we can see the impact of this shift already. Precision-first marketeers, those leaning heavily into AI and adaptive creative, are dramatically more efficient. They're 27% more likely to waste less than 10% of their media budget. So brands like Western Union are already proving that real-time automation doesn't just increase relevance. They've been able to streamline 4,300 creative updates to improve local relevance across markets in real time, which is a true competitive advantage. And now, as we forge further into 2026, the marketeers who believe most strongly in incremental reach are also the ones more likely to embrace more platforms. They're operating with a cross-channel mindset, typically using 6 or more platforms compared to 3 to 4 for other marketeers. And why? It's quite simple. It's because cross-channel orchestration is where the next era of growth truly lives. All of these channels provide incremental audiences that another doesn't provide. So when you combine them all together, you're more likely to get the best performance for your campaign. And emerging video-first platforms like TikTok or Snapchat, they unlock engaged younger audiences. And with AI managing the complexity, marketeers can actually diversify without adding operational overhead. And this brings us to a new archetype, and I've highlighted this word throughout so far, but the precision first marketeer. So half of these marketeers believe that challenger platforms like CTV or Reddit deliver meaningful incremental reach, and those who feel this most strongly are operating differently. They're using nearly twice as many platforms, leaning into experimentation, and are far more likely to use AI for optimization. And the result is quite clear. Diversification powered by AI amplifies both reach and relevance. Now, even with all this progress that we're seeing and these positive green shoots, the challenges that marketers will still face are real. And these leading challenges may not be brand new. And it does lie in the bottlenecks for personalization, slow production cycles, inconsistent quality, and complexity across these platforms. And what these barriers have in common is that they're operational problems, not strategic ones. And they're exactly the areas where AI excels. AI can be like an operational catalyst, which in fact gives brain space back to the marketeer to focus on the truly groundbreaking things. Thinking of a new strategy, thinking of a new creative campaign, and focus on those key marketing functions. Now, as brands are expanding across more channels and formats, the complexity of producing high quality creative at scale becomes one of the biggest barriers to growth. And what we've heard from marketeers in this research is very clear. Personalization, production quality, and tooling are no longer those nice to have conversations. They're operational bottlenecks that are slowing teams down, and they have to get it right. But the organizations who lead in 2026 aren't doing more work, they're doing smarter work. So teams that can turn data into consistent, high quality creative at speed are the ones positioned to get ahead and stay ahead. And this is exactly where AI transforms from an efficiency tool into a creative accelerator. And I'm sure most of us will agree that we've kind of moved past the AI hype. We know that it's here and teams are figuring out how to use it, if not already. It's not a futuristic promise, it's embedded into everyday workflows already. And that shift has been very dramatic. So, in previous years, when we ran this study in 2024, 80% of marketeers said AI was living up to the hype. And in 2025, that number jumps to 88%, a nearly 10% or 10-point increase in just 1 year. And this is because AI isn't just optimizing campaigns after the fact anymore. It's shaping them before they begin, powering creative intelligence, predictive insights, and smarter decision making across every single channel. And adoption isn't slowing down, it's accelerating. Today, 95% of marketers are using generative AI for asset creation or optimization. And roughly half of these marketers are integrating AI across campaign setup and creative workflows. So this is becoming a sort of new normal. It's not just about augmenting the work, it's becoming the connective tissue that's holding these key pillars of creative media and measurement all together. And as these capabilities expand day by day, hour by hour, the gap between AI-enabled marketers and everyone else is only going to widen. So, in this quick overview and insight, the conclusion is very clear. It's going to take three things to continue to have these teams and these advanced marketeers lead in 2026. First, they're going to move faster. Speed is no longer a nice to have, it's kind of the competitive mode. So think about speed to adapt, speed to react to the new channel that comes along, or even speed in making a change. So if you have an AI strategy that isn't working today, being able to quickly adapt it to what works, that also is important. And second of all, they are going to connect more channels, not by adding complexity, but by orchestrating platforms, formats, and audiences as a unified system. If you are advertising on Snapchat, on Meta, on Spotify, you will realize there are similar formats that are utilized across all of these channels. And AI can be the muscle behind using one format that excels in one into another. And third of all, they make AI work harder for them. So AI becomes the engine that handles volume, variation, optimization, and prediction. So marketers can actually focus on the strategy, the creativity, and the storytelling, the reason why they got into the job in the first place. So the marketer that will thrive in 2026 won't be the ones who are following the trends. They're going to listen to the beat of their own drum, and they're going to be the ones to set their own trends. So hopefully that gives you a quick overview as to what's in this report. But if you want more detailed information or the full report, you can reach out to me at nasia.burke@smartly.io. And so with that being said, I'm happy to hear thoughts, comments, or any questions.
It's curious, with AI progressing so fast, are we gonna all be without jobs in a year or two? What do you feel?
It's a very good question, and I debate this often. Now, what I see AI as, and there's many marketeers who are using AI every single day, I see it as more of a catalyst to get the job done as opposed to replacing the marketing workforce. So I think roles will change, roles will develop. You may have more people that are focused on strategy as opposed to hands on keyboards, monitoring a campaign execution, which I think is actually exciting because the reason why I got into this industry in the first place was after watching Mad Men. And Mad Men was all about thinking about how to connect to the consumer. It's that human interaction that's the core of marketing. And I don't think, as it stands, AI is going to be able to replace that. I think AI excels in orchestration, in the background implementation of, if you have to make an asset in a Facebook campaign 4x5, 16x9, AI can do that. You don't need someone, spending hours doing that manual resizing. So that's where I think AI is going to excel. Of course, we'll be evaluating this and see what happens in a few years' time, but I do think job roles will change for sure.
Hey,
Yeah,
so I can.
for the better, surely.
Yeah, exactly. Go on, Moda.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Nasia. And always a pleasure to meet our fellow industry peers in the region. Oh, look, and it's a great question. And to Nasia's point, senior client partner for the MENA region as well. So working very closely with brands and agencies in the region. And it's something we get questioned on a daily basis when we're with our partners. And to Nasia's point, it can be a debate, but it can also be a very positive discussion. And something we find is a lot of brands are adopting it to drive operational workflow efficiencies within their businesses. And as such, they're adopting tools to enhance the work they're doing today, right? And we all know this. There are many products out there, there's tools out there, there's workflows that they are conducting on a day-to-day basis, and it can become tedious, it's very manual, labor intensive. So where tools can enhance, they're obviously leveraging. And then when we look at it from another lens is we're looking at brands who are adopting such tools. And the type of questions they're coming to us is with who do we employ or how do we upskill our current task force? What should they be doing? What kind of certifications should they be? How do they upskill in better utilizing tools like this? An example we get is, if like prompting is key to AI. So how does one become confident and ensure the right prompts are being made to enhance their own workflow? So I personally believe, I always use this analogy, it's the era of when computers came out. It helped us to drive and send emails to our loved ones close to us more efficiently rather than sending paper. But people still like sending letters. It's one of those things. So there's no right or wrong here. It's all around us humans. How do we adopt the tool? And I think that's what we're going to be starting to see more and more as the tools start becoming more sophisticated, as the products start coming. How does one start to leverage this best to its advantage?
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time. Thank you specifically to Smartly for sharing those insights with us. It's always useful. And of course, we do record these sessions, as you gathered from the beginning, and these sessions are available on our YouTube channel and on our website within a day or two. There's a number of others there to have a look through, so it's a really good repository of smart thinking and insights from the market for the market. Thanks for